93 teams to go on my road to predict all 131 teams this college football off season. Starting out now with the ACC, getting into a brand new conference, and we're on to the Duke Blue Devils, who are going to kick off us talking about the ACC. So Duke, overall, just not a very good team last year. No other way to put it. This was a very, very disappointing team in 2022, and they figured they needed a coaching change. That's exactly what they did. But can this new coach bring some hope and maybe turn around this Duke program faster than a lot of people think? Or will Duke need a couple years, and then maybe Duke can try to get back into bowl contention? What's up, Tailgaters? My name is Tailgate Nate, and welcome to my channel. I'm predicting all 131 teams this college football offseason, and that means I'm doing your favorite teams. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, so you know when your favorite team gets uploaded. And the Duke fans in this video, but just in general, but especially Duke fans in this video, you guys will know your favorite team a lot more than me. So if you feel like I missed something, you want to add something, anything of the sort, leave it in the comment section down below, and I will be happy to go ahead and read through what you have to say. Let's talk about Duke in 2022. They are, unfortunately, my bottom-ranked team, the 14th ranked team in the ACC, the Duke Blue Devils. And again, just not a very good team last year. They were 3-9, won 3 out of their 4 non-conference games, and went 0-8 in conference play. So overall, very, very poor year for the Duke Blue Devils. Overall, though, statistically, offensively, in terms of yards per game, they were around middle of the road, around 418 yards per game, which is a solid number. However, this team struggled to score the football. Around 23 points per game last year, which was the worst mark in the ACC. So Duke got yards last year. They just were not able to punch it into the end zone. In terms of defense, this was just the worst defense in the ACC in pretty much every single metric. 518 yards per game, around 40 points per game allowed. Just not a good defense by any stretch last year for this Duke team. And again, like I said in my intro, this Duke team looked at all that and said, hey, we need a change. So Mike Elko going to be brought in as that new head coach. And we'll kind of see what happens with Mike Elko at the helm. But he is losing a lot of talent that really would have helped him in his first year at Duke. Gunnar Holmberg had 2,358 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions last year. For this team, also 167 rush yards and 6 rushing touchdowns as well. At the quarterback position, was going to be that quarterback coming into this year, but of course, Gunnar Holmberg now no longer with the team. Neither is probably their best player all around. Offensive, defensive running back, Mateo Durant. And there should be an extra A in there. I apologize for the misspelling, but 1,241 yards, 9 touchdowns on the ground and through the air, 256 yards and 2 touchdowns. So definitely probably the best offensive player, and you lose him. But you also lose your best wide receiver. Jake Bobo had 74 catches, 794 yards, and a touchdown for him. Also, Jarrett Garner is gone, kind of a role player there at the wide receiver position. And he is gone. On the defensive line, you lose Gary Smith, Ben Fry, and then this defensive back group got hit hard. Josh Blackwell, Lumi Young, Jalen Alexander, Jeremiah Lewis, and Nate Thompson. Lumi Young, 7 passes defended and a pick last year. Josh Blackwell, also 7 passes defended. Jeremiah Lewis tied for the team lead with 2 interceptions, also had 30 tackles last year. Gary Smith tacked on a sack. Ben Fry tacked on 2 last year. There's just a lot of talent that is leaving this defense. A lot of talent. But hey, you know what? Definitely still some guys that are coming back that could propel this program. But they're going to be looking to the quarterback position first, right? Riley Leonard and Jordan Moore are going to be there. So for Riley Leonard, 381 yards, a touchdown, and a pick last year. Again, not bad, but not great. And then Jordan Moore had 95 yards with a touchdown last year, but was also the second leading rusher on this team. Only 221 yards and 3 touchdowns, but was still the second leading rusher. Riley Leonard on the ground, 4th leading rusher, 173 yards and 2 touchdowns. So keep all of that in mind, because that's going to be pretty interesting when you watch this quarterback battle. However, I do believe it is Riley Leonard that is going to get that starting quarterback spot. I would expect him to be there starting for this Duke team at the start of the season. They returned running back Jordan Waters, who had 197 yards and a touchdown last year. That was kind of the extent to his year for Duke, but figures to be that number one running back in 2022. Otherwise, wide receiver position, Jalen Calhoun, Eli Pancol, and Nicky Dalmolin coming back for this team as well. And again, I'm sorry if I mispronounce any names. But Calhoun, Pancol, Dalmolin should, along with some other names, should be able to kind of get this pass-catching group going. When you look at the defensive position, defensive line, you return your 2 sack leaders from a season ago in Dwayne Carter, who had 4.5, and R.J. Oben, who had 5 of them. You also return leading tackler Shaka Hayward. That's a big get back. Also in the defensive backs, Jalen Stinson, Detrone Young, Jordan Morant, among some other names coming back as well. Daquan Johnson coming back. So still some names coming back for Duke for sure, but there's definitely a lot of work to do at this Blue Devils program. That is for certain. Looking at the Blue Devils schedule, non-conference play, you get home games against Temple and North Carolina A&T, road games against Northwestern and Kansas. And then when you take a look at their conference slate, it's not by all means the hardest conference slate, but it is in no means an easy conference slate either. You avoid playing Clemson, you avoid playing NC State, but you got to play Wake Forest at home. That's the end of the season game. Other home games against Virginia, North Carolina, and Virginia Tech. Then you got to go on the road to play Georgia Tech, Miami, Boston College, and Pitt, the Panthers, the reigning ACC champs. So let's kind of break down the schedule a little bit. Again, you have 2 Power 5 games here in non-conference. The game against Northwestern, the game against Kansas. Now, both of those schools are 2 teams that I also have already done their conferences, and I've ranked them both at the bottom of their respective conferences. Northwestern 14th in the Big Ten, Kansas 10th in the Big 12, the conference that we just finished. However, with Northwestern, again, the pattern seems to be that this is a year Northwestern is supposed to be pretty good, so watch out for that. And this is a much, much improved Kansas team. It's a Kansas team that is definitely more talented than lots of Kansas teams in years past. So these, I think, are going to be 2 tricky, if not really hard games for Duke to win. Going on the road against Power 5 opponents, yeah, definitely with the talents on this Duke team, you're going to be led by a new quarterback, new running back, a couple new faces around the defense as well. This is definitely a group that is going to be inexperienced coming into 2022. Going on the road against a Power 5 opponent, no matter how good they are, is always a tricky thing to do. When you look in conference play, though, and it doesn't get much easier. I mean, going on the road to Miami, that figures to be a really good team coming into 2022 with Mario Cristobal now as that head coach. When you look at North Carolina, that's still going to be a solid team. Georgia Tech is losing a lot. That probably won't be a very good team either, but you got to go on the road to play them. You get Virginia at home, which may end up probably being your best shot to get a win in the ACC, if not on the road against Georgia Tech. On the road against Boston College, they return Flowers and Jurkovic. Home against Virginia Tech. There's another slight opportunity there as well. Virginia Tech's got a new head coach coming in. Then going on the road at Pitt, at home against Wake Forest. Just 2 more tough games. Again, your ACC champion and your ACC runner-up from a season ago. I don't do game-by-game predictions. I do a more percentage-based outlook. Tell me predict the team's record. If the game's in red, I just don't see you winning the game. If the game is in orange, I still really don't see you winning the game. But hey, it's college football and an upset can happen. Yellow are your 50-50 or high upset potential games. Games in yellow-green are games that you should win, but watch out for team on the other side of the ball. And games in green, you're probably good to win. So I got a game in green. It's the North Carolina A&T game. Should be able to win that. I also have them being able to probably be able to beat Temple. That's a Temple team that probably, again, will not be that great in 2022. Losing a lot, not really, a lot of uncertainty in that Temple program. And it could be a nice way to maybe gain some momentum going into that Northwestern game. But again, I'm going to slightly lean towards Northwestern and Kansas in both of those games here that Duke play. Yeah, neither of those teams, Northwestern or Kansas, I project to be very good. But I do think that they're going to be better than Duke. So Duke, especially going on the road, maybe if one of those games was at home. But again, those games there, going to be a little tricky to win. Otherwise, when you look at ACC play, pretty much everything is in orange or red. except for that game on the road against Georgia Tech. Again, that's a game. That's a team in Georgia Tech that is losing quite a bit. Again, running back Jahmyr Gibbs transferred over to Alabama, losing some other talent there. But other than that game at home or on the road against Georgia Tech, maybe they can pull off an upset against Virginia. Maybe they can pull off an upset against Boston College. Maybe they can pull off an upset against Virginia Tech. But I really think it's going to be extremely difficult for Duke to win any sort of game in the ACC this year. First off, you got to play 3 of what I think are the better 5 teams in the conference with Miami, Pitt, and Wake Forest. You avoid playing Clemson, you avoid playing North Carolina State, which is good. However, this is still going to be a tricky schedule for Duke to balance and try to get through. I really don't see Duke winning a game in ACC play in 2022, and I maybe see them winning 2 games this year. I have Duke going 2-10 in 2022. Again, I think it's going to be very hard for them to win a conference game this year. Maybe on the road against Georgia Tech is that conference win. But with a new quarterback, with a new head coach, you're losing your best offensive player in Mateo Durant. This is definitely going to be kind of a year where Duke is going to have to rebuild and try to get back, right? All in all, 1-11 I see is that floor. 4-8 maybe is that ceiling. Maybe they win one of those non-conference games. Maybe they get a win or 2 in ACC play. Who knows? I just don't think this Duke football team is going to be very good in 2022. Although, maybe give Mike Elko some time, and this Duke program could be able to try to get back up there. So, that's my prediction on the Duke Blue Devils in 2022. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, anything you can to help out the channel. And remember to play hard but tailgate harder. I'll see all you guys in the next video. Goodbye.